What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Super here and welcome back to another MK11 video. And today I'm going to be doing a very interesting video because for you guys who might be new to the channel, I actually did a video called 5 things to make MK11 the best Mortal Kombat game of all time. And I uploaded this on, I believe it was December 3rd or 4th. It was literally a couple days before MK11 got revealed, but at the time I didn't know that it was going to get revealed at the Game Awards for sure, but I knew that MK11 was coming at some point in the future. Thank God we got an announcement for this game at the Game Awards, and we're only 2 months away from playing the beta, 3 months away from actually playing the full game, which is insane how fast this thing has turned. But I thought it would be really fun to go back and talk about that list now that I have a little bit of gameplay experience with the game. Now, I'm going to come back to this video in maybe like 6 months, once the game is actually out and we've had a chance to play the game, and do another video like this, because it'll be interesting to see what 6 months from now I think about the game when actually it's out and we get to play it for a long time. But I think it would be interesting to compare my expectations to the reality now that I've actually played it for a little bit. Now keep in mind, I've only played the game for like 2 hours, so of course this is nothing compared to months and months of playing the game. But I just think it's a fun video to go back and talk about what my expectations were for Mortal Kombat 11 to what the game actually is. But if you guys have been enjoying the MK11 content, I would really appreciate a like rating on the video. It helps out a ton, especially with YouTube. You guys know how YouTube is with MK videos, but let's get started here. Alright, so at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that there's 3 things that I was gonna leave off the list because I knew that we were gonna get these things because it's a Mortal Kombat game. So number 1 was fast-paced gameplay. Fast-paced gameplay was like, alright, MK9's pace is actually really fast. If you know how to dash cancel, if you know how to maneuver the stage properly, a lot of the pros, man, that game looks insanely fast. So the game is fast-paced. MKX, I think we definitely got spoiled. Now that, you know, I have a little bit of experience with MK11 and I compare the two and compare MK9, MKX is like the fastest fighting game ever on the ground. It's ridiculous. It's like a fighting game on multiple steroid cycles and multiple steroid products. You know what I mean? Human growth hormones and a bunch of other shit. It's ridiculous how fast MKX is. So we definitely got spoiled in that department. Now, does MK11 have fast-paced gameplay? At the moment, it does and it doesn't. So a lot of people have the misconception that I have said that MK11 is like Injustice, and it's definitely not. What I said was that MK11 has taken a lot of inspiration from Injustice, and I said that the way the characters move feel more like Injustice than a Mortal Kombat game, because the dashes are really slow and there's a lot of walking back, walking forward to the game at the current build that I played, you know, in January, the pre-alpha or alpha build, whatever you want to call it. But the game, once you actually do moves and, you know, play up close and you're poking with down 4, poking with down 3, it definitely feels like a Mortal Kombat game. There's no doubt about that. But the gameplay is a lot slower than even MK9. So as far as fast-paced gameplay, when you get 2 characters that specialize in being up close, this gameplay, the game is gonna look insanely fast. Like it's gonna look fast. It's gonna look like a Mortal Kombat game. But when you're dealing with a character who has who's more space control, more defensive, it's definitely gonna look a lot slower. So the gameplay isn't as slow as I initially, you know, thought it was. Maybe it was just because I was playing the computer and it felt a lot slower than actually playing a human being. But I think we could all agree that the pacing of the game, the dashes and the movement feels a lot slower than previous Mortal Kombat games. So as far as fast-paced gameplay, I think it's a yes and a no, because once you actually start fighting, it does feel fast paced if you guys are up close and doing the counter pokes and doing, you know, all the Mortal Kombat stuff, but just naturally the game feels a lot slower. So that one's not quite, that expectation was not quite you know, correct. Amazing graphics is beyond what I could have ever expected. That was the second thing that I mentioned we should expect from Mortal Kombat 11. Amazing graphics. And this is one of the best looking fighting games ever created. I think Dragon Ball FighterZ and Mortal Kombat 11 are definitely on the Mount Rushmore of best looking fighting games of all time. There's other games, there's actually a lot of old school games that I think look beautiful and amazing in their own right, with amazing sprites, and they just look beautiful. I think Marvel vs. Capcom 2 looks beautiful. I think CVS 2 looks beautiful. But as far as the newer games and, you know, just games recently, man, Mortal Kombat 11 is ridiculous. Oh, the game looks amazing. So that one is beyond my expectations, actually. I didn't think it was going to look this good. So that one definitely was a good prediction. These are not like out of the blue predictions. This is what I said we should expect from the game. Number 3 is a great story. Now, of course, that's still up in the air because we haven't actually played the game, the story mode of the game. But based on the little teasers that we've gotten for the story mode, I could tell that this is going to be ridiculous. It deals with time travel. It deals with, you know, a character who Ed Boon has described her as the baddest of the bad guys, because, you know, I don't think they had this plan. They definitely did not have this plan. This is like Toriyama type of shit, where, you know, he brought in Beerus, and he has to find a way to like work Beerus with the old timeline, and, you know, talking about Beerus approving the destruction of Planet Vegeta, stuff like that. You know, like, obviously they didn't think they were gonna make Kronika like years and years down the road, but now with the story mode and how it's developed, he said that Kronika was pretty much controlling everything from MK1. So I think the story mode is going to be badass. It's going to be their biggest and best story mode, and just based off the way the graphics look, man, I cannot wait to dive into the story mode and see what it's all about. Alright, now let's talk about the actual predictions. These are my top 5 things to make MK11 the best fighting game of all time. Number 1, and the most important one to me, was the music. And based on playing MK11, and I'm sure that this is not going to change, but unfortunately, we are not going to be getting better music for the game. Now, I apologize to the person who actually does the music for MK11. I'm sure that he's an amazing composer, but I feel like MK11 needs some hype music, because the gameplay is, you know, just beating each other up, doing, you know, gory stuff, fast pace. Not so much at the moment completely, but I know it will be fast paced once people get used to the movement and stuff. Fast paced, boom, boom, boom. You're playing offense, and I feel like the music does not match it, man. The music does not capture the overall excitement that Mortal Kombat brings, and unfortunately, that's the case for MK11. I didn't even pay attention to the music. That's how insignificant to me it was, and it didn't add anything to the gameplay. And that's one of the biggest criticisms that NetherRealm has had, because, man, you have games like Killer Instinct, you have games like Dragon Ball FighterZ bringing in the anime pack and having actual songs from the movies and Dragon Ball Super and stuff. Man, I just wish that they would, like, you know, give us some hype music, give us some Killer Instinct type music, you know? That would be perfect, but unfortunately we're not getting that, so that's one checked off the list already. Moving on, number 2 was a good roster. Now, so far, the roster has met some fan favorite characters that had not appeared in previous Mortal Kombat games, like MKX. So Baraka's coming back, Scarlet's coming back. You know, you have this new character, Garrus, Kronika, of course, Sonya's coming back, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, that we know of so far. Shao Kahn is coming back, which is a huge positive. And based on all the teases and you know, pretty much character confirmations in one way or another, at least being in story mode, we could kind of get a good idea of the roster. And right now at the moment, it seems okay. The roster seems okay, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot more fan favorite characters because Ed Boon has said, you know, they want to appease the fans. And what better way to have, you know, some fan favorite characters, the robots. We still got new Cybot, Rain, all these characters that still have to make it. Just them bringing back Baraka and Scarlet, like those characters had a huge fan following that were very vocal on Twitter, especially Scarlet. I think she was one of the fan favorites in MK9 as a new character. Well, I guess she was a character that was in previous Mortal Kombat games as like little Easter eggs and teases that people were wondering who the hell is this, you know, red female ninja, and they ended up turning her to Scarlet, which is crazy in and of itself. So I think they're definitely appeasing the fans, and I know this roster is going to be amazing. I don't think that 25 characters is going to be the base roster. I think they're going to add more slots. I think we're going to have 28 to 30 characters in the base roster, and I think it's going to be amazing. And of course, we already have 6 DLC characters coming in Combat Pack number 1, so I know this roster is going to be amazing. So I think the roster, I think we're good to go on the roster. Fun balanced game. Oh man, so fun balanced game. So far, I feel like every character had fun gameplay. Every character had moves that were really interesting. Garrus, especially with, you know, manipulating time, he could actually take away or gain 30 seconds off the clock or add 30 seconds to the clock, and there's gonna be some crazy cheap interesting gimmicks with that character. So fun balanced game, what I mean by that, for you guys who might not know, is a game that is just nuts. That is just every character is broken. Every character has, maybe not broken like plus 26, plus 27 orbiting hat on Block Kung Lao. You know what I mean? Like, I mean that every character has really, really good tools and makes them really fun. I want every character to do this, because a boring balanced game is a game that characters are toned down and they keep getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed instead of having fun things that characters could do and buffing characters who might not be as strong and leaving the strong characters as they are, and just making every character viable and fun and crazy. You know, either have crazy mix-ups, crazy pressure, stuff like that. That's a fun balanced game to me. Now, of course, all I'm talking about is just as a casual fan. Like, I'm not talking about tournament play or anything like that. I'm just talking as a casual fan that loves playing online and having a lot of fun. I want the most broken game possible that's still balanced in you know, making everyone broken. I want a game where every single character is broken. That's just me personally. All right. Now, of course, we don't know if that's going to be the case. It's probably going to end up being like a mixture between the two, but so far every character has been really fun. I did try every character, even though I didn't get gameplay recorded for each character, but every character was fun, and every character had really interesting moves that I'm curious about. Yes, even like Raiden and Baraka, which, you know, I was kind of like indifferent about. But characters like Garrus have really interesting things. All right, let's move on to number 4, which is creativity with combos. Now, this is the one that I'm the most disappointed about. And trust me, guys, I know there's going to be combos in MK11. I know this. But since we don't have time with the game and I'm just basing our first impressions and what NetherRealm has said, which is the fact that they want combos to be shorter. They want combos to be shorter and do burst damages instead of having long juggle combos like a Hunter Predator combo, for example. And I feel like, I mean, I'll get used to it, of course, but man, one of the most satisfying things in all of fighting games is just doing one ridiculously long, crazy combo that's hard to do. In my opinion, that's one of the most fun things in a fighting game, and the fact that they're emphasizing that they don't want long combos definitely had me upset. And I know there's going to be combos. Like, I know some characters are going to have longer combos than others. Some might do a bunch of damage with like 3 hits, 4 hits, etc. But I kind of wanted combo system to be a little bit more creative like MKX was. There's still people finding out new combos to this day on MKX, and it's beautiful. So just based on the fact that I couldn't really find long combos, of course I found, like, you know, a typical bread and butter and stuff like that, but the fact that I couldn't find long combos, even like when I went to the Injustice 2 pre-launch events where I got to record some footage, I found like a lot of cool stuff for Captain Cold. I found some cool stuff for Robin. You know, you just know what goes with what whenever you try out a new fighting game. But for MK11, I just couldn't find anything. And their emphasis on shorter combos has me a little worried. Now I know there's gonna be combos. Yeah, I know that's gonna happen. So I guess we're gonna have to wait and see how much we could break the game with the combo system when their emphasis is on shorter combos and not as many juggles as before. So that one, unfortunately, check it out. Cross it out, I should say. Now the last one here, Gear returning, and guess what? Gear is returning, and it's returning better than ever because it's returning with skins. Now, skins and Gear mixed together, that is the perfect love child of MKX and Injustice 2, because we're still going to be able to customize the character to look the way we want him to look, or we want her to look. But now we have skins involved, which gives NetherRealm an opportunity to put in a bunch of different looks that you normally wouldn't have in just having Gear, because of course Gear was more tied to armor and there was a lot of generic gear that repeated itself. But now we have different costumes, so we could go classic costumes, newer costumes, you know, creative costumes that NetherRealm comes up with characters. And the best thing of all, now that we're gonna have skins and Gear in the game, when new DLC come out and there's guest characters like hopefully Spawn or maybe Michael Myers, we're gonna get different costumes for them like we did not have in MKX, because everyone has to have Gear, everyone has to have skins. And we didn't get that for MKX. I was praying for a Jason X costume that never came. I was praying for something different for the robots, maybe a classic costume or a classic costume for Tremor. It never came, but DLC now will have skins and Gear just like every other character, and it makes me so happy. I'm glad this is back, and it's better than ever. So out of the 5 things that I wanted for MK11 to make it the best fighting game or the best Mortal Kombat of all time, of course only time will tell what things are going to change. So that's why I want to come back to this video in the future and see what changed and see what came to be true. And you know, once the game is out, we'll have more of a retrospect on how things are looking. But amazing music was number 1. That one is not going to happen. A good roster, I think that one will come true, so that one is a check mark. Fun balanced game, I think it's going to be in the middle, but just based on the fact that you have so many moves, I do think it's going to be a you know, crazy game as far as moves and everything. So let's put a check mark on that one. Creative combos, that one is a red giant X on it, and Gear returning. So far it's looking pretty good. 3 out of 5 is definitely better than what I expected. 3 out of 5 so far is looking like could be really good sign that MK11 might become the best Mortal Kombat game of all time. Now it definitely has the potential, I'll tell you that much. It definitely has the potential to be the absolute best Mortal Kombat game of all time. It just depends on how they move forward with the game, and you know, what kind of changes they make and what characters they add to the roster, because roster is super important, and to see what decisions they make. But that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be coming back to this video in the future and see where we're at with MK11. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. What's going on? It's Super here, and thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you guys subscribed if you are not already. Also check out any of these videos linked at the top. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.